Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Upgraded Sets. Uh, IK set or Immortal King set, Immortal King. It literally just says Immortal King. By the way, it doesn't even say anything else. Just Immortal King is the name of the set. Is a very interesting set. It is extremely powerful for what it is, but it is also an elite set which has a huge number of non-elite items, and when you put on the set, you gain this golden glow, and it is relatively easy to come by. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It is a relatively easy to come by set because of a lot of the pieces being very common. The war boots are very common. The belt is very common. The Mortal King's Warforged Gauntlets are very common. The helmet is actually very common. The Stone Crusher is very common. And honestly, the only piece in the entire set, which is kind of difficult to come by, is the armor. And that has to do with the fact that it is a sacred armor, which is the highest level armor in the game. Now, there are two pieces in this set which cannot be upgraded, and we can't do anything about those. That is the Immortal King's Soul Cage. That one cannot be upgraded. And the Immortal King's Stone Crusher. That one is also elite already and cannot be upgraded, so to keep that in mind. We also have some other interesting things that are going on here. And we'll talk about this as we go forward. So, Immortal King set. Now, let's go over each piece first before we think about going over and upgrading anything, shall we? So let's start out with the Immortal King's Stone Crusher, which is the Ogre Maul. The Immortal King Stone Crusher is 231 to 318 damage. It does have a fast attack speed, which is a mace class, a 225 strength requirement, which is really quite high, and level 76. Now, Immortal King Stone Crusher Ogre Maul is indestructible. Set items cannot spawn ethereal, by the way. 40% increased attack speed, which is very, very nice because a Ogre Maul is actually quite slow. We have 200% enhanced damage on this, which is very, very nice. It does not vary. And 200% damage to demons and 250% damage to undead, which of course 50% of that is from the fact that it is a mace class. So we've got basically a 200% off weapon ED versus both demons and undead, and that's really nice. That functions very similarly the way Might does. Now it does not show up on the panel here, but that is something that it does. We also have 40% crushing blow damage on this bad boy. So if you are unaware of how crushing blow works, it is 25% of the monster's hit points, the current hit points, not their max, in damage to their hit point pool. 12.5% for bosses and 10% for PvP. So we have a 40% chance to deal 25% damage to a monster, which is freaking awesome. We also have a bunch of green bonuses on this, and they have to be gone over individually. And let's take a look at them. So right off the bat, if we take off pretty much every single piece of this set except for two, you will notice that we still have some decent green bonuses on this. You know what? Let me reset his points and just put a buku amount of points into strength because he's going to need every single bit of it. This is a very high strength set, and it is silly for me not to have a very high amount of points into strength, and I accidentally dumped all my points into dexterity. You know what? Let's just do full strength. How about that? So right off the bat here, with only two pieces, you can see that we're rocking at least 211 to 397 fire damage. And then when we throw on three pieces, we get another 7 to 477 lightning damage. And when we throw on four pieces, we get 127 to 364 cold damage. So we get a lot of additional elemental damage on this. And when we throw on the fifth piece, we get 204 poison damage. And then when we throw on the last piece, we also get 250 to 361 magic damage. So the weapon itself, when used with the set, gives a huge number of bonuses to fire, lightning, cold, poison, and magic. It is a very multi-elemental weapon. Not only does it have relatively high physical damage, we are also getting a massive amount of elemental damage on top of it, which makes this fairly good for killing physical immunes because, well, really, there's nothing quite that you're not going to be able to kill. With all of those different amounts of elements, it's very difficult to come across a monster that is immune to every single element, and it's very, very nice to have that. Now, the Gauntlets are also 238 defense with 110 strength requirement and a level requirement of 30. So very interesting. They also have a 12% chance to cast level 4 Charge Bolt when struck, which is relatively nothing. 65 defense, 20 to strength, and 20 dex, which is definitely going to help you put on some of this equipment because that 20 strength is going to be pretty massive. And the dex, of course, will give you a little bit extra defense and attack rating. We also got a bunch of green bonuses on this, so we're going to have to take off quite a few of these pieces of equipment so we can play around with these green bonuses. So right off the bat, with only 2 pieces, you will see that we still get 25% increased attack speed, which is very, very nice. 25% is actually higher than most items in the game. Most items in the game only have 20%, and there are very few that are higher than 25%, like Saigon's set bonus gives you 30%. When we put on 3 pieces, we get 120 defense added to that. And then when we put on 4 pieces, we get another 10% lifesteal, which is pretty darn sweet. And then when we put on another piece, we end up with 10% mana steal. And the final piece gives us freezes target +2. So pretty massive bonuses on Immortal Kings all around. Like when you put on multiple pieces, you just get all these nice green bonuses that pop up. And they're spread out all over the entire set. The next one we have is Immortal King's Will, Avenger's Guard, which is 175 defense, 65 strength, and level 47. This gives +2 to War Cries, Barbarian only, 125 extra defense, 37% extra gold for monsters, 40% better chance of magic items, +4 to light radius, and 2 sockets. Now, the weapon also gives you 2 sockets. I forgot to say that. I usually don't call out the sockets because you use the socket quest for those, but the weapon actually does come with 2 sockets, which is pretty nice. You could throw in a lot of very interesting things in there. You could put in 2 shales to make it faster. You could put in some open wounds damage with an rune. You could put in, like more physical damage. You could put in a deadly strike jewel, like a low rune. 2 low runes might actually be not bad, though that's pretty expensive, just for the deadly strike. And the helmet is the same. It also comes with 2 sockets, so keep that in mind. And those 2 sockets are pretty nice. Now, the helmet does not have any green bonuses, which is a little odd. Especially considering all these items have so many green bonuses. I was actually kind of curious why this one doesn't have any green bonuses, but maybe it's because they gave it 2 sockets with the 2 War Cries. I don't know. We also have Immortal King's Soul Cage, Sacred Armor, which is the hardest piece to find, with 1,300 defense. Of course, that's with the set bonus, so when we take it off, it's only 1,000. But a pretty massive amount of defense there. 232 strength requirement, though. Sacred Armors have a relatively high strength requirement and level 76 requirement on that as well. We do have a 5% chance to cast level 5 Enchant when struck, which is really nice. Enchant is a ability that will beef up your attack rating and give you a little bit extra fire damage. So if you actually go and you take a look at Enchant, you will find that Enchant is probably about like 100% extra attack rating. But let's double check just to be sure. So we're going to search for Enchant, and we're going to go to level 5. So we're looking at a bonus of 56% to my attack rating, which is not bad. 56% extra attack rating for free, just for running around and getting beat up is certainly very nice. And it also adds a little bit of fire damage as well, of 15 to 21. So some fire damage and some attack rating, essentially for free. Also, it's important to note that Enchant does not overwrite lower level versions of Enchant. So if you rock like Demon Limb or something with this for the level 23 Enchant, or you have the new Act 3 Mercenary who's rocking Enchant, or a Sorceress comes in and enchants you, your level 5 Enchant will not overwrite the higher level one. It is something that I have tested extensively and quite madly too, because so here's a situation that's kind of silly. So let's say I'm a level 5 sorcerer, or I'm a sorceress and I have level 5 enchant. Or rather, I have level 4 enchant, but I have max warmth, right? So my enchant does more fire damage than yours, but your enchant will still overwrite mine. But mine won't overwrite yours. And it's kind of got frustrating to me, because like there were situations where people would use Demon Limb, which is level 23, but my enchant was like level 20 with max warmth and did way more fire damage than theirs, but I couldn't overwrite it because mine was the lower level. We also get +2 to combat skills, Barbarian only, which is definitely very nice. 400 to defense, poison resistance 50%, and of course you can put a socket in this, and you can add something nice. It doesn't come with a socket though. Now this set has green bonuses too, just like all the others have green bonuses. And as you can see, with 2 pieces we get 25% faster hit recovery, which is very nice. With 3 pieces we get 40% cold resistance. With 4 pieces, we get 40% fire resistance. With 5 pieces, we get lightning resistance of 40%. And then with the 6th piece, we get 50% enhanced defense, which does actually beef up the defense of the sacred armor, which is kind of nice. So this particular set is very interesting so far. A lot of very nice bonuses. And now let's move on to the belt. So we've got Immortal King's Detail War Belt, which is 245 defense. 110 strength requirement, level 29, 36 defense, 25 strength, which is definitely nice to have. As you can see, this set kind of helps itself because of the plus to strength. So we get plus strength on the belt, we get plus strength on the gloves. We also have 31% lightning resistance, 28% fire resistance, and then we get our green bonuses here, which is quite a large number of green bonuses. So let's go ahead and play around with some of these green bonuses, shall we? So right off the bat, with 2 pieces, we've got 105 extra defense. With 3 pieces, we're rocking 25% faster hit recovery, which is very nice because that stacks with the faster hit recovery on the armor. We also get 100% enhanced defense for 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, sorry, which increases the defense of the belt considerably. And then we also get another bonus of damage reduced by 20% for rocking 5. And then on top of that, we get one more bonus, I believe. Yes, +2 to masteries for the full set, so not bad. A lot of green bonuses going on here, and a lot of really nice effects. 20% reduction in physical damage is actually massive, and is much better than Verdungo's, which is only 15%, and String of Ears, which is only 15%. So keep that in mind. And then the boots. The boots are Immortal King's Pillar War Boots, which are 288 defense, strength requirement of 125, level requirement of 31, 40% faster run walk, which is pretty nice, 110 attack rating, which is always nice to have as a melee class, and it's going to be a pretty nice boon to the amount of damage he can dish out, because he's going to hit more often. 75 to defense, 44 to life, and of course we've got green bonuses. So let's take a look at these green bonuses, shall we? So right off the bat, we've got 25% better chance of magic items. We also have a +2 to combat skills for 3 pieces. We've got 160 defense for 4, and then we've got half freeze duration for 5, and none for when we put on the full set. We also get a full set bonus of +3 to Barbarian skill levels, 450 to attack rating, 150 to life, all resistance is 50, and magic damage reduced by 10. Now you do get some orange bonuses when you put on a partial set. Like for instance, if we have 2 pieces on, we get 50 to attack rating. If we have 3 pieces on, we get 125 to attack rating. If we have 4 pieces on, we get 250 to attack rating. When we put the 5th piece on, we get 450 to attack rating. And then finally, when we put on the full set, we get the full bonus. Now, it's interesting to note that this set doesn't necessarily require you to wield the entire thing. You don't actually have to wear the entire IK set to get a lot of these amazing bonuses. Perhaps you just want the dual mana leech and the increased attack speed, and you want to rock like 3 or 4 pieces. It's actually not a bad idea to rock maybe like 3 pieces. If you're rocking Immortal King's War Boots, Immortal King's Detail, and Immortal King's Gloves, you're getting a pretty amazing 25% increased attack speed, 125 to attack rating, 120 defense, 25% fast hit recovery, 105 defense, +2 to combat skills, 25% magic find, and of course all the bonuses on the other pieces themselves, which is kind of nice. And you can also rock the helmet, and then you could get the 10% lifesteal, the 100% bonus defense on the belt, and the 160 defense on the boots, and then you could even rock the armor, and you would have the 10% mana steal, 10% lifesteal, the damage reduced by 20% on the belt, and of course the the half freeze duration. I mean, all of this kind of adds up to you get a whole lot when you put on the entire set, and that's really all there is to it. The Immortal King Stone Crusher, believe it or not, makes a very good Iron Golem because of the crushing blow and the massive amount of damage with increased attack speed and the damage to demons and damage to undead. Makes a pretty hefty Iron Golem, so keep that in mind. All right, so now that we've looked at the entire set, now that we've seen what the set can do, I want to see what the set can do if we upgrade it. So we are going to look at this in the upgraded forms. Now, of course, you can utilize this set in many ways with a Whirlwind Barbarian, a Concentrate Barbarian. It tends to lean more toward a Whirlwind Barbarian, I think, just simply because of that high one-handed physical damage. But let's see what it can do when we upgrade it, right? So let's take the Immortal King's Will, which is 175 defense, 65 strength requirement, level 47. And we're going to need a Lem, a Co, and a Perfect Diamond. And this is going to upgrade to... Oh, it doesn't upgrade. So not all of these are going to upgrade. Like I said, the Sacred Armor does not upgrade. It's because it's already elite, so the Venture's Guard is already elite. So let's do the gloves then. So the gloves are War Gauntlets. They are 118 defense, 110 strength, level 30. And they go to 134 defense, 185 strength, with level 64 requirement. Not honestly a bad upgrade, especially considering you already usually have enough strength to use the 232 on the Sacred Armor for this. And it still gives you 20 strength bonus. So as long as you have at least 185 strength, it also gives you another 20 on top of that, which is going to be 190, 205 strength. So you would have 205 strength with these gauntlets. Now the belt upgrades as well, and I'm actually kind of excited about this because the belt has a 100% enhanced defense as well as a bonus defense, so it's going to be a really high defense belt. So let's go ahead and upgrade this, shall we? So Lem, Co, and Diamond. It's going to go from 88 defense, 110 strength, level 29, to the Colossus Girdle of 101 defense, 185 strength, level 67, and then when it gets put on, it goes to 271 defense. The boots are 128 defense, 125 strength, 31, and those will upgrade as well to 139 defense, 208 strength, and level 65. So very interesting there. Quite a bump in defense from all these pieces. I'm actually kind of interested to see like what it would be if we throw on like our full shout combo. So let's just go ahead and grab full shouts. Let's go ahead and put 1 point into our Iron Skin Mastery, and let's see what kind of defense we're rocking if we fully buff ourselves up here. So fully buffed up with this particular set, in its fully upgraded form, we're rocking 13,890 defense, and it's honestly, I'm gonna say that if you were using Immortal Kings, if your character is using Immortal Kings and you have chosen to use this set on your Barbarian, upgrading the gauntlets is a good choice. Upgrading the belt is a good choice, and upgrading the boots is a good choice. And I'm going to explain myself here. You gain defense for upgrading these items, but what really is going on here is that you already need a massive amount of strength for the Immortal King's Soul Cage of 232 strength. You also need 225 strength for the Immortal King's Stone Crusher. The belt and the gloves both give you 20 strength, which means that if we were to reset this, we would only need 185. I'm pretty sure 185 is how much we would need base to reach the point where we can put everything on. Exactly. So right here, right off the bat, if we go to 185 strength, which is just enough to put on the gauntlets and the belt, The gauntlets in the belt allow us to put on everything else. So very interesting. Especially considering that if you're going to use this, you're going to have that amount of strength to wield the Immortal King Soul Cage and the Immortal King Stone Crusher anyway. So upgrading the belt and the gauntlets, absolutely, 100%. Upgrading the boots, absolutely, 100%. If you're using this set on a Barbarian and you want to upgrade these to the higher tier, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't. Because if you're a high-level Barbarian using this set, you're going to need the strength anyway. So going to the Ogre Gauntlets, going to the Colossus Girdle, going to the Myrmidon Greaves is absolutely no big deal. Now, talking about it as a set pieces, so as individual set pieces, though. So if we're talking about this as, like, if maybe you're a Barbarian who's just utilizing a 3-piece bonus, or maybe a 4-piece bonus, maybe you're rocking a 4-piece bonus, you know, in that situation, maybe not so much. Maybe rocking 185 strength and 208 strength requirement on the Myrmidon Greaves, maybe not so good. But in the retrospect of the set, it really does make sense. It really does actually make a lot of sense, and the extra bump in defense that you get from putting on all these items is very nice. IK set has always been just an easy go-to set for a Barbarian. It has just a massive amount of resistances, it has a massive amount of damage, it applies a bunch of different elements to your damage as well, which makes it easier for you to kill physical immune targets. It is not going to be the best thing that you could put on your Barbarian. It never has been. Actually, it might have been when it first came out. Never mind. But ever since the Rune Words, it hasn't been the best item that you can put on your Barbarian. But it is an easy set that you can get for your Barbarian. Let me put it this way: if I was a brand new Barbarian and I was leveling up and I found IK set and I put on full IK set, I would be freaking thrilled. Full IK set literally takes care of you and just makes it relatively easy for you to play your character. If I were to buff up my Mace Mastery here, and you know what, let's go ahead down here and let's grab Whirlwind. And we can't have a character like this without at least going in and playing around with his damage. So let's go ahead and get our buffs all the way up. And we're just going to go Whirlwind some stuff, shall we? We're just going to go Whirlwind some things. Whirlwinding stuff is what we do. I just want to whirlwind all with you. We're gonna whirlwind. Eldritch the Rectifier whirlwind. Oh, Eldritchy Poo, we're gonna whirlwind. Everything, we're gonna whirlwind. As you can see there, the freezes target does make things explode. These monsters are cold immune, obviously, and that doesn't really matter. The relatively ridiculous elemental damage on this set takes care of most characters that are immune to anything. It really doesn't matter too much. You could obviously utilize this with something other than Whirlwind. You don't necessarily have to be using Whirlwind. I just thought it would be funny to play around with Whirlwind. The increased damage to Undead and Demons is certainly very nice too. As you can see here, it kind of just shreds in Players 1. Not really a bad set overall, and if you wanted to put this on a Barbarian, it's certainly not a bad choice. Later on, when you finally get all your equipment together, and you finally got the rune words that you need, and the items that you need, like Ariat's Face, and Ravenfrost, and like maybe the right boots that you'd want, and all that stuff, that kind of stuff is something that you can do later. But as you're leveling up, you can very easily find yourself a very nice set of IK, and if you're lucky, I got Ethereal Night Smoke. If you're lucky, you can you can just trade for it. You could go into a game and you could just be like, I'll give somebody like some Pole Runes or something for a full set of IK. And believe it or not, most people don't use IK. Despite the fact that it's a very good set for Barbarian, the problem is that it's specifically for Barbarian. So most of the time, when people look at this set, they don't really want to use it. And the reason why they don't want to use it or hold on to it or anything is because they're not playing a barbarian. They're playing a sorceress, they're playing a paladin, they're playing an Amazon, they're playing a druid, they're playing a necromancer. You know, whatever it is that they're playing, and maybe an assassin, they don't really want this set and they don't really want to use it. And so it kind of falls to the wayside, not because it's bad, but because it's unpopular. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we're talking about the Immortal King. Now, if you are looking to find this set, before I close, let me just say that most of these pieces will drop just about anywhere. The boots, the belt, the gloves, the helmet, and the weapon will drop just about anywhere. However, Immortal King's Soul Cage is a sacred armor, and sacred armors only drop from level 85 zones from elite monsters. They are a high-tier treasure class item. Just the base, just the sacred armor base is a high-tier treasure class item, which means that if you want to find a sacred armor, the IK sacred armor, you have to go to level 85 zones. That's like Chaos Sanctuary, the Pit, Ancient Tunnels, you know, like Worldstone Keep. These are level 85 zones that you can get this armor in. You cannot get this armor in zones that are lower than level 85 unless the monster is level 85 that you're killing. And I believe it's actually TC class 87, which means that it has to be 85 plus 2. So if we were to go to the treasure class list real quick for D2 and pull this up, I'm pretty sure that we will find sacred armor all the way up at the top. Yes, sacred armor in the TC class 87 zone. So yes, sacred armor, just the base sacred armor. That means that literally just the white sacred armor with no effects, no anything, is TC class 87, which means that it has to be a level 85 zone with a monster who is plus 2 levels, which means that he has to be elite. So he's got to be a relatively high level monster to drop a sacred armor. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and keep watching.